how do we go about training multifidus and interspinalis and the deeper muscles of the spine? Now, should we train these muscles like a bicep, like a quad, where we use length change to train the muscle? So biceps are more force production muscles, so they would be known as a prime mover. So when you look at an exercise, a bicep curl, your elbow flexes, that contracts the bicep and the wrist moves closer to the shoulder. If we take the quads and we go to straighten the leg, the quads contract and the leg straightens. That's because the quad is a prime mover. It is a much bigger muscle. It's a force producer and it's a movement muscle. We can say the same about the glutes. We can say the same about the triceps, the latissimus dorsi, the pecs as well. So a traditional idea of training won't fit for the spine and it won't fit for the core, but it does fit for the limbs. So pushing exercises, pulling exercises. Now, where it can be useful is if we are performing, let's say a single arm cable press. So I'm stood up, I'm pushing the cable forward. Now, if obviously my pec, my shoulder and my tricep are pushing the handle forward. For my torso, for me to be able to train those muscles more effectively, what I want to be able to do is maintain posture and resist being pulled around by the exercise. So as I mentioned, biceps, they're prime movers, mostly type 2 fibers, voluntary large movements, best training method, strength and hypertrophy training. When we move into multifidus, spinal stability posture, mostly type 1 fibers, so they work from a more endurance perspective over a prolonged period of time. They're involuntary and have low level endurance, as I mentioned. So then we've got stabilization exercises, that's the best method, and activation exercises. So I've already mentioned one. We've got that single arm cable press. So if you want to integrate training these deep lying muscles with, let's just say, conventional training, you would perform an exercise like a single arm cable press and resist the weight pulling you around. So you would maintain posture. Now, if we look at a simple core exercise, we would use the bird dogs, where you're on all fours, you lift an arm and a leg. So when you go into extending the leg and the opposite arm, you want to keep your shoulders and hips level. If they're wobbling around everywhere, you haven't got stability of the spine because they're wobbling around everywhere. When you take the arm and the leg out and you're able to hold posture, that's those muscles working properly. So it's understanding that the idea of, and I call it sort of a bodybuilding philosophy, which is strengthening a muscle. So if we go down the road of trying to strengthen multifidus and strengthen interspinalis, that is the wrong foundation to start with. So all the exercises that are trying to do it are essentially incorrect. Now, it's key to understand it. Just because they can do it doesn't mean it's their primary function. Because we understand a little bit more about the anatomy now and the density of these length change receptors called the muscle spindles, it starts to highlight to us that that's their secondary function, and their primary function is this postural control that I'm talking about. If you want to challenge your posture a little bit more, go into a plank and lift your arm off the floor. If your hips or body either rotate or weight shift, again, you don't have stability in the right area. If you can go into a plank, lift the arm up on your back and you stay completely still, there is a stability going through the spine and the hips. If we take another one, if you go down onto one knee and you place the knee and the foot directly in front of the knee, you are basically on a tightrope on one knee. Again, if you're very stable in that position, you have good postural control. If you then add a weight and sort of lift it from side to side, again, you can maintain proper posture. That's training those muscles. There are many exercises out there. If we take kettlebells, for example, a little bit more sort of gross stability. So we're starting to integrate the whole of the core now. But essentially, kettlebells are best for resisting movement. So again, with sit-ups, we are trying to create movement. With back extensions, we are trying to create movement. These muscles don't work like that. Kettlebells are more effective. With all the exercises we've talked about resisting movement. We don't want our body to wobble around. If you choose an exercise where you can maintain posture, and then your arms and your arms and legs can move around that, that's the best type of training for these types of muscles. So I'm kind of starting to go round in circles a little bit, but how we train these muscles is by resisting movement of the torso. Your legs and arms can move, so it doesn't mean you're a robot. What it does mean is that your legs, which have the power generating muscles, and I've said this in countless podcast episodes and tutorials, your glutes are big, powerful movers. That's what they do. Use them for that. Your core muscles are there to act like carbon fibre and transfer energy between the arms and the legs, from legs to arms and arms to legs. That's what they're designed to do. They're there to design to resist movement. Sports performance. You get all your power from your limbs, and the core transfers it. If you got movement in the core, you're leaking energy. It's known as an energy leak. Now, if we take a golf swing as an example, because this is where people then go, yeah, but what about a golf swing? They've got to move their spine. With a golf swing, when you look at it, when you get to the top of the movement and you start, there is a contraction. So there is a moment of force generation. If there is laxity through the spine, that's when you get the energy leak. So it's that initial rotation, because what then happens is when the club comes through the air, muscles, they don't relax, but their activation dampens. When they hit the ball, they get a little mini contraction again. So we have to understand these nuances with regards to movement. So again, if we go back and let's sort of, I guess, conclude. These muscles are stability, postural muscles. They are there for spinal stability. They are there to help resist movement, and they are there to help you maintain posture. They don't have high force, so they have low force. They are best used to resist movement when it comes to the plank, the bird dog, or even a golf swing, because they're actually resisting too much movement between vertebra and vertebra. So it's not really in our conscious control. When we talk about rehabilitation, it's the same thing. The main focus shouldn't be contraction, relaxation, or shorten, lengthen. That shouldn't be the main focus. What should be the main focus is resisting movement within the torso. Then you're training these muscles. Because as I've mentioned, there are people out there that will tell you, we need to do a back extension to really target these small, deep muscles, and we need to go into full flexion to target these muscles. That is not the case. They have that as a role, but that is not their primary role. If you really want to get the most out of these muscles, and I cannot say it, I guess, any more clearer than this, do exercises where you have to resist moving the spine. you will get much more from it with regards to stabilizing the spine. And that goes for rehabilitation, everyday life, fitness, the whole lot. So if you've got any questions, leave them below. If you've liked the content, hit the like button. If you want to watch more, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Many thanks for watching. I'll speak to you soon.